Now, Atlanta rapper Lil Baby is currently entangled in a police investigation related to a deadly gang war, one that has already left 2 teenagers dead and raised serious questions about his alleged connections. Authorities have indirectly linked his name to the shooting that took place last summer in Atlanta, a crime that police say was part of an escalating street war between rival gangs, and somehow Lil Baby's name is connected to all of it. But Lil Baby and his legal team have been quick to dismiss the allegations, calling them nonsense and shameful. So how exactly did Lil Baby's name get dragged into all this? And what exactly happened that night when those 2 teenagers ended up getting killed? Let's take a closer look. Now this starts with a recent press conference that was held from the Atlanta Police Department, where officers described a violent gang conflict that led to the death of 2 children, both aged 13 years old. Their names were Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis. On July 2nd, 2024, their lives were cut short in a shooting that police say was part of an escalating war between rival gangs. And according to authorities, it all traces back to Lil Baby. Police claim the violence boiled over after Lil Baby filmed a music video in enemy territory, a move they didn't just criticize, they outright called it a cowardly act. In other words, they're saying that the neighborhood got shot up because of Lil Baby.
In the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions, and you know who you are.
This was the scene early Tuesday morning at the West End Apartments in the Oakland City neighborhood. 13-year-old Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman were killed. Another child, a 12-year-old, was transported to Grady.
My cousin, real smart, real funny. He didn't do nothing to nobody in my eyes.
In the early hours of July 2nd, 2024, the Oakland City neighborhood of Southwest Atlanta was silent until it wasn't. At 12:40 a.m., a 911 call came in. Gunfire had erupted at an apartment complex on Sparks Street Southwest. Multiple shots, multiple victims. When Atlanta police arrived, they were met with a scene of devastation. Lying there on the pavement was a 13-year-old boy, lifeless. His body had been riddled with bullets. A few feet away, another 13-year-old was still alive, barely breathing, struggling to stay alive. Nearby, an 11-year-old had also been hit, his small frame wounded, but still responsive. Paramedics rushed both surviving boys to a nearby fire station before transferring them to the hospital. But despite their efforts, hours later, the second 13-year-old boy succumbed to his injuries. Only the 11-year-old survived. Now, the police said that this wasn't a random shooting, it was a targeted one. And the truth behind what led to this bloodshed was even more shocking. According to arrest warrants obtained by Fox 5 Atlanta, this is what occurred right before the fatal shooting took place. 2 brothers, one 13, the other 12, stepped out their apartment just before midnight. They had a reason, a heartwarming one. They were heading outside to wish their friend a happy birthday. But before they could return home, death was already circling the block. Surveillance footage showed 2 vehicles, a white Nissan Maxima and a gray Nissan sedan, passing by the apartment complex twice. They weren't lost. They weren't just driving through. They were hunting. And when the moment came, 6 armed individuals stepped out the car and opened fire. Investigators later recovered multiple shell casings, including 5.56mm, 7.62mm, and .223 caliber rounds, meaning the shooters weren't just carrying handguns. One of the 13-year-old boys dropped instantly, dying on the scene. The other, fighting for his life, was still breathing when help arrived, but he wouldn't unfortunately make it. Their families were left shattered. A cousin of Lamont Freeman shared memories of who he was beyond the headlines. He loved to ride bikes and be outside. He and his friends would ride bikes all around the neighborhood, go to the park, and play basketball all the time, she said. But the saddest part of this tragedy, Lamont Freeman had just turned 14 that night. What should have been a moment of celebration became the last night of his life. Instead of blowing out candles, he was now getting carried by 6, and his family was forced to plan a funeral. At the time, police had not named a suspect or made any arrests. The investigation remained ongoing, but for now, the families of these boys were left searching for justice. 2 young lives were stolen, 1 young survivor was scarred forever, and the killers still out there. However, it would take 8 months for police to finally make a breakthrough in the case, one that would ultimately link Dominic Jones, professionally known as Lil Baby, to the tragic deaths of these young boys. According to official arrest warrants and documents from the Atlanta Police Department, this is what really happened. Before we continue, I gotta let y'all know about the noise I've been trying to duck as of lately. Whether I'm editing or trying to put some blood in these not so big biceps, distractions are everywhere. That's why I've been using the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, and man, keeping it a bean, they've been helping me lock in for real. Let's talk about this Dreamy Clouds case cover. Can't even lie, man, this is clean, a very dope design. And what I love the most is that I can wirelessly charge the earbuds without taking the cover off. It's the little things that make these feel premium. The active noise cancellation is solid as well. Blocks out background noise when I'm working out or zoning out after hitting legs, which I don't do enough of. If I forget to charge them, Quick Charge has my back. Just 10 minutes gives me 90 minutes of battery. You've got a 32-hour battery life. They're comfortable and they don't fall out when I'm moving and grooving. I've tried a bunch of earbuds and these actually hold their own. They're solid if you're looking for something affordable and easy to use. And with Mother's Day coming up, this could actually be a fire gift for someone who's always on the move, taking calls, cleaning, whatever. If you want to try them yourself, go to buyraycon.com/BlackySpeaks to get 20% off site-wide. Again, that's buyraycon.com/BlackySpeaks for 20% off site-wide. Click the link in the description box or peep the pinned comment to get yours at buyraycon.com/BlackySpeaks. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Now back to the topic. In August 2024, investigators recovered the stolen white Nissan Maxima used in the homicide of the young boys at a parking deck on Drew Drive Northwest, located in Northwest Atlanta, near the Bankhead area. Through forensic analysis, authorities matched shell casings found at the crime scene to previous gang-related shootings across Atlanta. Around the same time, investigators made another major breakthrough. With the help of phone taps, they intercepted conversations between gang members, discussing the shooting and scrambling to cover their tracks after the death of those two young boys. And this is when investigators discovered OMF, Only My Family. It's a subset of the Goodfellas criminal street gang, an organization that has operated in Atlanta since the early 2000s, often referred to as the mob, La Familia, Italian for the family, or La Costa Nostra, Italian for this thing of ours. The Goodfellas gang is allegedly structured around money, power, and the protection of its operations. OMF wasn't just another local crew. They were part of a larger, deeply rooted criminal network, and their influence stretched far beyond Atlanta. When the police started digging deeper into the Oakland City shooting, they began intercepting conversations between OMF members. One of those conversations led them to Richard R.J. Hollis, a known OMF associate. Hollis was caught instructing his crew to destroy evidence, including a pair of shoes and social media accounts, anything that could link them to the crime. Investigators also received a crucial tip from a confidential informant who passed along chilling information about another key suspect, Keith Jamin Mobley. According to the informant, a relative had revealed something disturbing. J-Man was gunning for Lil Baby, but there was one problem. Lil Baby was nearly untouchable, always moving with heavy security, making it almost impossible for anyone to reach him directly. And even beyond his security, Lil Baby is known for keeping a piece on him at all times wherever he goes, something that's been caught on camera more than once. Now, J-Man's real target that night wasn't the children. He was after someone connected to 4 Pockets Full, Lil Baby's record label, and crew, also known as 4PF. According to the informant, J-Man didn't even realize the victims were children until after the shooting. The investigation also uncovered another disturbing detail. Quinte Sanders, another OMF member, had repeatedly told his girlfriend that he wanted revenge on Lil Baby. Not only that, but Sanders had plans to extort Lil Baby for $5 million upon his release from prison, further fueling the gang tension already surrounding the rapper. But this wasn't just about random violence. This was deep-rooted retaliation. The Oakland City shooting was allegedly part of a deadly back and forth between 4 Pockets Full and OMF, a gang war that had been escalating for years. And at the center of it, a music video shoot, a murder, and a plan for revenge that would eventually drag Lil Baby's name into the mix. On May 14, 2024, at around 4:50 p.m., Dominic Lil Baby Jones was headed to 2197 Verbena Street Northwest in the Dixie Hills neighborhood of Northwest Atlanta to shoot a music video. To outsiders, it may have seemed just like another day on set, but to those active in the streets, it was a provoking act, because that particular address was known to be OMF territory. The rival gang Lil Baby's crew had already clashed with. Shortly after the video shoot had started, that's when gunfire erupted, throwing the entire video shoot into chaos.
Residents in the Dixie Hills neighborhood say Tuesday's shooting on Verbranda Street that occurred on the set of a music video featuring popular Atlanta rapper Lil Baby has them on the edge.
We just heard pow, 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 and that thing over, da-da-da-da-da-da, and we grabbed the kids, and everybody was just running. It was a whole bunch of chaos.
A 24-year-old man was shot in the arm, while a 27-year-old man was struck in the back. Both victims were rushed to a nearby hospital for treatment. According to official police documents, Lil Baby was almost hit during the gunfire, but in the end, he made it out unscathed. He quickly left the scene, escaping before the chaos escalated. According to the authorities, this wasn't just a random act of violence. It was deeper than that. The decision to film in the Dixie Hills neighborhood wasn't just risky, it was fuel on an already burning fire. Now, I just mentioned the music video shoot, but according to police documents, there's another layer to the story. Before the cameras even started rolling, Lil Baby and his crew were shot at by multiple assailants. Now, whether this was a warning, an attempted hit, or part of something bigger isn't clear, but what happened after is even more disturbing. At this point, we already know about the two innocent children who lost their lives in the Oakland City shooting, Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis. One more child was seriously hurt, and that was Jacody's younger brother, Dontavius. But now we have another confirmed innocent victim, an innocent mother who got caught in the middle of this deadly gang war.
A little bit before 2 o'clock in the morning, they got the call over to Gun Club Road, and that's where they found a car with that had been shot into. A woman in the passenger seat had been shot to death. There was also a driver of the car and a toddler.
Only 4 days after Lil Baby's music video shoot, tragedy struck again. According to Fox 5 Atlanta, at around 2 a.m. on May 18, 2024, Atlanta police discovered a 21-year-old woman shot dead inside a car on Hollywood Road, a stretch of road running through Atlanta's Scotts Crossing neighborhood, located in the Upper West Side area of the city. The scene was horrific. The woman was in the passenger seat. The driver was still there when the police arrived. And the worst part, a toddler was in the back seat of the car. And according to the investigators, this wasn't just another crime in Atlanta. This was a brutal reminder of how deep this alleged gang war had spread, with innocent lives now being taken in the process. According to the Atlanta Police Department, these shootings were part of a relentless cycle of back-to-back retaliatory violence between 4PF and OMF. Each attack exposed the territorial strongholds these gangs controlled, as the shooters in each case had clear ties to one side or the other. But not everyone caught in the crossfire was involved. The horrific murder of this innocent mother, Jane Doe, was yet another example of how this back-to-back violence was tearing through the streets of Atlanta.
Cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been.
The area around 2197 Verbena Street Northwest was deep in enemy territory, controlled by gang members who already had a long-standing conflicts. And according to official police documents, that tension all traced back to one thing: the August 2021 murder of Marcus Big Mark Holland. On the night of August 16, 2021, gunfire erupted at a gas station in Atlanta, Georgia. When the chaos settled, one man was dead. That man was Marcus Big Mark Holland, a killing that authorities say set off a chain reaction of retaliation that only escalated in the years that followed.
All right, breaking news right now. A man is dead after being shot outside a gas station. We're told it happened here at the Shell at Fairburn in MLK. Police are looking at possible surveillance video out there, trying to figure out what went down leading up to this shooting. If you know anything, please give police a call.
Authorities say OMF members believed 4 Pockets Full, Lil Baby's crew, were responsible for taking out Marcus. And ever since, both sides have been locked in a cycle of violence. As the years passed, the bloodshed between 4PF and OMF didn't stop. Then on June 29, 2024, the war escalated once again with the murder of OMF member Trevante Turner.
Police in southwest Atlanta are investigating an overnight homicide. It happened on Peyton Place Southwest, which is not too far from the Hamilton MARTA station. Police tell Fox 5 crews they found a man in his 20s shot and killed inside an apartment there.
Turner was shot and killed at a location on Peyton Place in southwest Atlanta, an area police identified as OMF territory. His death immediately set off plans for retaliation. Police later discovered that multiple OMF members began coordinating through social media and wireless devices, strategizing their next move against Lil Baby and his crew. This is when investigators uncovered extensive communication between several OMF affiliates, including Ali Lee Caldwell, Trayden Crawford, and Reginald Yano Thomas, as they discussed plans for retaliation against the person they believed was responsible for Trevante Turner's death. Their identified target was John J. Shot Smith, a man known to frequent Spark Street, the same street where the teenagers were killed. Smith was reportedly closely connected to Lil Baby, whom police referred to as the leader of 4PF in their warrant.
These kids were innocent victims. So when we talk about the gang involvement, these two 13-year-olds and this 11-year-old, they didn't have a gang involvement.
In the end, what started as a gang war between 4PF and OMF spiraled into a series of deadly retaliations, leading to the death of 2 innocent children on Spark Street in Atlanta and an innocent mother passing away. Now, Lil Baby's legal team didn't stay silent on this. In a statement to Billboard on February 28, his attorneys pushed back against the Atlanta Police Department's press conference, calling the allegations complete and total nonsense. To say that he couldn't shoot a music video in his hometown, a place that he loves and has continued to uplift, is disgraceful, they stated. They also emphasized that the decision to film at that location wasn't Lil Baby's alone. The location for a major music video shoot is a decision made by a professional team and is not a decision made by any individual. Lil Baby's legal team doubled down by saying, bringing his name into a conversation regarding a terrible crime for which he absolutely had no involvement in is unprofessional, unethical, and shameful. Dominic is devastated about the situation because those children came from the same neighborhood he did, and he will continue to build up his community in any way he can. As for Lil Baby himself, he kept his response brief but firm. Taken to his Instagram story, he addressed the situation directly by writing, "Thanks for all the concerns. Please don't be misinformed by fake news. I'm overly good." In other words, Lil Baby's legal team is making it clear he had nothing to do with what happened and the allegations against him are completely fraudulent. So now Lil Baby finds himself in the very thing he's been trying to avoid. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you know I've talked about Lil Baby's effort to distance himself from the streets, something he's been vocal about in both interviews and his music. Most recently on his song 5 AM, he rapped, "I got feds on my trail, they be trying to connect me to dumb shit. I got lawyers behind me, I'm ready, tell them come on." And here's where things get interesting. Lil Baby dropped that song just a few months ago. Coincidence? Maybe. With everything that's now unfolding, it's hard to not wonder if he knew that this was coming. I mean, he literally said it himself. The feds are trying to connect him to dumb shit. Or at least that's how Lil Baby himself sees it, because, you know, when the police are linking your name to the death of 2 innocent children, it's not something that can just be brushed off as dumb shit. This is some real serious stuff, right? And it's obviously very tragic. No matter how you look at it, there's a lot of weight that comes with that accusation. I'm not really too concerned about whether or not this is going to blow back on Lil Baby, because at the end of the day, Lil Baby is still alive. But those kids who had absolutely nothing to do with the beef between these grown men are gone. And that innocent woman with her toddler in the backseat is also gone. That's what really matters to me. This is one of those really tragic stories, if you ask me, because, you know, kids getting caught in the middle of issues between adults they had no part in should never happen. It's just like that heartbreaking story we recently covered involving Texas rapper Get Money Lil Ronnie and his 5-year-old daughter getting brutally murdered at a car wash. I mean, what a tragedy. In a lot of these situations, it always seems like the innocent ones are unfortunately paying the price more often. Back in the day, organizations like the Italian Mafia followed an unspoken rule. Women and children were off limits. The idea was that organized crime had its own code of honor. You go after your enemies, but you leave innocent families out of it. And I'm sure it wasn't like a thing everyone followed, and I don't want to, put gangs on a pedestal. All I'm saying is these days, those so-called codes, they really don't exist in any fashion. In the modern era, especially with street gangs, there's no longer that same level of restraint. Now innocent people, including children and women, are constantly getting caught up in the crossfire more than ever. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and that's why whenever I cover stories like this, I want to leave you with more than just the grim details. If you made it this far, you can't obviously leave this video without dropping a like on it, okay? Thank you so much for showing appreciation for this video, and thank you guys so much for actually watching this video. If you're new here, my name is Blacky Speaks. Nice to meet you. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the family. Any thoughts on this conversation surrounding Lil Baby and the deadly gang war tied to his name? Y'all let me know in the comment section below what you think about this entire conversation, and I'll catch you guys in the next video per usual. I'm out. Peace.